Bitcoin maxis, gather around. We need to talk. Really important topic, concerning, I rather say. And before I begin, I'm just a student of life and here to learn, understand how things work, curious, questioning. And if you differ, have a different point of view, just chime in. Let us know, enlighten us where we are wrong, point us to the right direction, right? And that's about it. Because the whole market is so manipulative. Everyone's just pumping and dumping, whether in crypto, stock, whatever. And with the AI era, you have a lot of news and AI slops. It's hard to distinguish which one's AI, which one's non AI. 10 AI, one maybe human. That's the world we're living in right now. So, hence, information overloaded. But the truth, the good, the golden nuggets, they're all buried under. So, if you have something real, share, right? Engage. Anyways, before I show you whatever I'm here to present, right? Basically about Bitcoin. This topic is Bitcoin. I plan on sharing some of the gold mining stocks and stuff in the upcoming days. But this video, Bitcoin, and there's an individual who shares quite a bunch of stuff, and I found it interesting. All right, his name puts me on a loop, so I'm just gonna leave it out. The credit, everything goes to that individual. I just use Grok to dumb down some of his post, and I'm gonna present it to you. All right, in a manner that we can be curious and try to make sense out of it. Simple as that. Simplify crypto, Bitcoin, and make sense out of it. The possibilities. Okay? And yeah, this is just a quick on my feed, just to show you real quick, right? And what happened with NVIDIA? NVIDIA invests in Palantir, Palantir invests in OpenAI, OpenAI invests in NVIDIA. NVIDIA invests in Oracle, Oracle invests in OpenAI, OpenAI invests in Intel, then AMD, AMD invests partners with, again, NVIDIA. Wait, what? And Bitcoin is just doing its own thing, barely moving. Not cool, right? Not cool. My crypto bros are in pain now. Look at all the unemployments here, the layoffs here, massive. And here, before I get to the real topic, which I'm going to show you right now, here, okay? I want to show you this. And let's not forget, watch the previous video. I told you the blockchain is the future. Western Union, Visa, they all are gonna use the blockchain to create their own stable coin, which is the USDT or whatever, their own stable coin. Binance has their own stable coin, BUSD. You see where I'm going with this? Which means everybody wants to be a part of it. Nobody wants to miss out on the fees and whatever. And at the same time, they're trying to reduce, or what do you call this? Stop from acceleration from de-dollarization, basically, right? Basically giving more people easy access to buy into dollars. And then you can participate in the market, crypto and all whatnot, right? So that's coming, that's there. Anyway, again, back to the topic. Some education seems needed. Bcash and BSV were altcoins and with airdrops, not hard forks. Soft forks and hard forks don't result in multiple tokens. Hard forks do, however, require everyone to consent and upgrade. Otherwise, even with inaction, the attempt fails and turns into an altcoin with airdrop. Soft forks don't chain split. They succeed unless the community actively opposes them. To reject it, the opposition needs to counter fork and split the chain. And those of you who have no clue, because yeah, we are all here for money, all right? Just tell the truth. Barely anybody understands exactly what is a utility, what Ethereum does, what kind of software or programs you can build on it, CCIP, whatever. Barely, right? Oh, hold on, ordinals. What do you mean by Bitcoin ordinals? I thought Bitcoin was currency. Sending weird images through Bitcoin network? How many knew, right? Even, again, I'm trying to teach myself. The reason I'm showing you this fork thing, it was posted October 28th, and his opinions lately has been very unpopular in the community. People are like, yeah, you don't know anything. Oh, why did you... Malicious miners can always create a chain split with or without a soft fork. It has nothing to do with soft fork itself. Malicious miners can always create a chain split. Don't forget this term, chain split. Now, let me present this to you, ladies and gents. You ready? So again, just dumbing it down, credit goes to the individual. It's a little, I won't say extremely long, but I took it from 3 different posts. So bear with me, all right? There's a lot of reading. I'm not gonna put a lot of music in the background or B-rolls, just unedited straight up. So pay attention and let's make sense of this, okay? All right, let's go. The first part. in no particular order. What's happening with Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a type of digital money that anyone can own without banks or governments controlling it. But now, big companies like Wall Street are quietly taking over a lot of it. Governments tried to control Bitcoin with rules for 15 years and couldn't. But Wall Street did it in just 18 months by making it easier and cheaper for people to invest. The big numbers. A company called BlackRock has a fund called an ETF that holds 802,000, almost close to 1 million Bitcoins. That's like 4% of all the Bitcoin that can ever exist. All the US Bitcoins, ETFs together hold 1.25 billion Bitcoins. That's about 6% of all the or million Bitcoins. That's not billion. That's about 6% of all Bitcoin that's out there right now. Most of it is stored in one place, like a big safe at a company called Coinbase. Since July, when new rules let people move Bitcoin without paying taxes right away over, hear me out, okay? Like I said, pay attention to the word, and hence I had to use AI to dumb it down because that individual is of high IQ and the stuff he posts right here, it'll be a little hard to figure out, all right, for an individual mind. So why not? Please pay attention to this. Bitcoin used to be a rebel money. It was not supposed to be government, Wall Street, but now it's more, Wall Street just owns it, and it can be a lot worse. How? Possibilities. Hear this out. All right, a company called, since July, when new rules let people move Bitcoin without paying taxes right away, over 3 billion worth of Bitcoin has gone from people's own wallets to these big companies. There was this rule where if you have the key, the ledger, you own it, right? But in order to protect, avoid the tax, whatever, you can transfer it, convert it into an ETF, meaning you have to hand over it to the corporation, BlackRock, and then they will convert it to the ETF, and that'll help you avoid whatever, the tax and stuff. So now my question is, was it a purpose or was it money? Was it purpose or money? Were you in Bitcoin for purpose or money? Purpose is like rebel money, against it, okay, against off-grid, or was it money? Money, right? I mean, that clearly shows, or else why would you hand it over to the corporation, which was not supposed to be a part of this? You're handing it over because you avoid taxes. And again, it's money. And then the ETF, guess what happens? They can manipulate to the ETFs in whatever way, right? I'm going to reserve my comment for now. I'll try my best to, again, let all the expert of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and as well as the maxis answer the question and clarify this in the comments, all right? Then we can do a part 2 of this, I guess. All right, hear me out. Let's finish this. Signs that things are changing. Fewer people are sending Bitcoin around on the network. Down 15% lately. The number of wallets with more than one Bitcoin is dropping 8% every few months. This has never happened in Bitcoin's 15 years. The network's helpers, called nodes, went from 60,000 to 50,000. A fast payment system called Lightning Network isn't growing. Miners, people who make new Bitcoin, are earning less from fees, but their costs are the same. This could make the whole system less safe. Bitcoin's price isn't jumping around as much anymore. Down from 45% ups and downs to 38%. By 2026, it might be even calmer, like 30%, 35%. This is similar to what happened to gold after big funds started for it. Prices got steadier, but more gold ended up controlled by a big few players. You see where I'm going with this? That's exactly what's happening in the gold market. They're dumping their paper shares to control the price. How it's happening? Rich people who bought Bitcoin cheap are trading it for shares in these ETFs without paying taxes. I just explained that. Then the Bitcoin goes to big storage places like Coinbase. This takes Bitcoin out of everyday use, so less is available for regular people. Now, the real price of Bitcoin is decided more by big trading places like CME futures and ETFs than by normal buying and selling. Hear me out, okay? This is important here. That's up 55% of all trades from just 45%. The hidden dangers. These big ETF companies can decide which version of Bitcoin to support if the rules change. Remember, I just showed you the forking and soft forking, hard forking. What are the chances big corporations, before I read the entire stuff, if I have to just sum it up in like 2-3 sentences, what are the chances that more and more whales and people hand over their keys to BlackRock and maybe JP Morgan, whatever, collateral and whatnot, and they have the majority of, let's say, Michael Saylor is one of them. Let's say all of them hold the majority of the Bitcoin, right? And there's a fork, Bitcoin Cash, BSV. It happened in the past, right? Which I'm going to show you. Bitcoin Cash is still here. But why Bitcoin Cash is trading at like 1/20th of the price right now, if I'm not wrong, right? If I'm getting my math straight. Bitcoin is cash is like at 500 something. Bitcoin is at like 111, 12,000. Why? Because more or less they chose to support BTC, while whoever opposed is stuck with holding cash, Bcash, right? Help me understand this, because that didn't get many support. So that's why it's all the way at the bottom. Bitcoin is going up because of adoption, institution. If institution decides to drop BTC and go after Bcash, basically Bitcoin Cash, what would happen? You get the point? It's possible, right? If they have the more power, and whatnot, it's not even decentralized anymore. And on top of that, they make all the decision. And guess what? At the end of the day, what wins? Money, right? Let me finish this off. This happened before with something called Bitcoin Cash. There you go. When the network split, people got stuck because the big players picked one side. It's like what happened in 1993, gold. The US government took people's gold away and then made it worth more, stealing value from owners. Back then, it was because gold was stored in central places. Now with Bitcoin ETFs, people are giving it up willingly for tax breaks, but it might be hard to get back. Mining is controlled by just 4 big groups with 55% of the power. A lot is in the US, and most internet setup is on one company, AWS, with 75%. This makes it easier for governments or big companies to team up and control everything. Like a 51% attack where they overpowered the network. What this means, Bitcoin started as rebel money that no one could control, but now it's turning into something banks and governments like, more like a safe investment than free money. There's a math idea called Arrow's theorem that says you can't have 3 things at once. No central control, big companies using it, and full freedom to change rules. True, right? You only can have one of this. By 2030, big companies might hold 70% of all Bitcoin. The price could go way up, like 200,000 or more, but it would be calmer, like stocks, and not the same wild free Bitcoin anymore. You're like, yeah, I don't care. At least it's going to go to 200,000. Yeah, but then they can drop the price. It probably will never go to 1 million because they can manipulate. And every time they're manipulating, they're actually making money from the spread. Oh, something is happening. Everybody buys in, provides liquidity. It goes up, they sell. And the clients and everybody makes money. Again, they control, it goes down. Again, you all start selling. They manipulate with, again, news. It's not a free money anymore, right? It might split into 2 types. One for big finance, with the possibility, if it could split in the past, BSV, Bitcoin Cash, it could split in the future too. And if they split this and BlackRock decides that they would go with BTF, what happens to BTC? Gets left behind, right? Stagnant. And everybody starts following BTF. Why? We are Bitcoin maxis. Yeah, but money talks, isn't it? If you're really true to yourself, or if you understand, if true to your purpose, or why you hold Bitcoin because of freedom and stuff, then money shouldn't be a concern. But if money is concerned, then expect Bitcoin price to drop if they decide to go with some other fork. Possible? I'm just saying possibility, right? Possibility. What could, okay, here, check this out. There'd be like 2 different paths that can mix. What could stop it? If big storage places hold more than 10% Bitcoin, the rules might freeze, improving. A huge hack, over 5 billion, could scare people back to holding their own Bitcoin. If the price drops below 50,000, people might pull out of ETFs and take control themselves. These are the things that could stop from whatever happening, like giving all the keys to the BlackRock. Advice, to stay safe. Okay, I'm not giving advice here. And again, this is the second article. What's happening with Bitcoin? Explain simply part 2. Bitcoin started as a way people, the big shift. Since July 2025, these whales have moved more than 3 billion worth of Bitcoin from their own safe storage to fund run by BlackRock called IBIT. This isn't just selling for profit. It's like surrendering the whole point of Bitcoin. I hope you're understanding the point. In every paragraph you can see the purpose. We are talking about the purpose, reasoning. But again, if money is the motivation, then it defeats everything else. But at the same time, even if money is motivation, you can also see the other side. If it was independent, no Wall Street, no government, it probably would have been very different. But now you have adoption, but at the same time, government can drop this. And you can see clearly the reason I showed you the Western Union, the stablecoin, their focus is all about stablecoins. They really don't care about BTC or anything else. Trump is decorating his White House with gold, man. Gold, not Bitcoin. But yeah, it's all the hyped up stuff that, yeah, Yeah, it's gonna go up. It's gonna go up. This and this. But you all are starting companies. They all are starting companies. I hold some BDC. Quick disclaimer: I hold some BDC. I've been in it for quite some time, years. That's the point. Blockchain. I love the space. I'm a bit techie. I enjoy AI. I enjoy blockchain. Like it's fun to learn and all these things. But they destroyed the space with all the scams and all the rug pulls. Any question? FUD. That's how they always get us. Now, when you see exactly what's happening, that everybody's in stablecoin, digital bank currency, connect everything together with a ledger that becomes centralized digital bank currency. There you go. It all makes sense, right? If you think about it. So now they can manipulate the price of anything. If it goes to BlackRock, Wall Street, the same individuals who said it was scam, blah, blah, blah. No, maybe it's a digital gold now. Why? Because when they see there's money to be made, there's enough retail demand, retail like us suckers demand, they have it, man. They have it, right? The government through the SEC approved a new rule called in-kind creations that lets Whale trade the actual Bitcoin for shares in the ETF. You see that here? Approved a new rule called in-kind creation. So basically you can exchange your Bitcoin, transfer, no, without any tax obligations. You can transfer and get the shares ETF through ETF, surrendering. And whales are doing it. Whales. Everybody was here for the money. Even the maxis, the biggest whales, are doing this for money, obviously. Why would you do it? Avoid tax. Money, right? Money. So it was always money. And now you're telling me if the whales leave and surrender, what's going to happen to the sharks and all the mini-me's later on? The surprising results. BlackRock now holds about, again, we explained this. I'm going to skip through this. The big irony, the funniest and saddest part, the whales who believed most in Bitcoin's freedom and no central control are the ones handing it over to Wall Street. You see this here? I repeat. Who believed most in Bitcoin's freedom and no central control are the ones handing it over to Wall Street. Irony and hypocrisy. And they're telling you to hodl, basically, to pass it over to family and hassle. They're picking what's convenient over what Bitcoin was supposed to stand for. Yeah, it's money. The numbers are real and the amounts being moved are huge. This changes everything about Bitcoin means. And this is the last article, then I'm going to end it, all right? Please pay attention. You can always play my video in 1.2x, 3x, but understand the context of this. None of these are made up. It's question. If I like, what is 1.1? And then you just ignore and forget about something and go to the next one. It's just an answer, right? And if you don't know the answer, let's find out from different sources. The global money system just broke, and what happened quietly? While most people weren't paying attention, the big shift of money and wealth in history started happening. The huge numbers that change everything. The whole world's debt reached 338 trillion in 25. That's like owning 235% of everything the world makes in a year, more than twice what we produce. The US created 22.2 trillion in new money, making the total money supply grow by 4.8% each year. This makes your savings worth less over time. Central banks, like big government banks, bought 480 tons of gold this year because they're worried. China has 2,299 tons and Russia has 2,033 tons. Gold price jump. The hidden takeover. The US dollar used to be the main money for the world, holding 62% of reserves. Now it's down to 54% since 2018. That's a massive jump. Countries like BRICS started a new payment system in October. It handles 480 billion in loans using China's yuan money. They're making their own money system separate from the West. Western banks are betting against gold and silver with 12 billion in short positions, hoping prices drop. But central banks are buying them up. You see what's happening here? There are people in America, there's 12 billion in short gold and silver. They're hoping it goes down. Americans are not even buying. Like retailers are not even buying. And even our own people are not encouraging us to buy. They are literally shorting it while China is loading up on this, driving the price, not us. We are just driving the price of Pepe, Meme, Ding Dong tokens and all of these and giving it to some corrupt right next door. That's exactly what's happening. Or somebody in the other part of the world, basically. That's how the money is being moved through crypto right now. As quick. You can see that every day. Think of money like an energy in science. Monetary entropy, a measure of disorder in the system, hits 2.41, a point where things break down and move to simpler, safer forms. Gold is a safe form because you can't just make more of it. Mining hit its peak in 2016. Only 20% of gold supply comes from recycling. Silver is needed for things like electric cars and solar panels, with demand up 20%. But there's only enough to store it about 4 years. Okay, the big surprise change. This isn't just prices going up, inflation. It's like total switch from trusting big banks to checking things yourself. Gold's rise shows the end of the system. Started in 1971 with the US stopped backing money with gold. That lasted 54 years. Retirement funds, pensions that handled 35 trillion missed out on a 2.67 trillion in profits from gold. That money didn't vanish. It moved to countries in the east like China and Russia. Man, the weird science twist. I mean, it's just like they say only when they find out. And by the way, whenever I use the word collapse, let's not use the word collapse. I'd rather use the word the greatest reset of mankind is about to come. Is coming, basically. Incoming, I'd rather say. Like collapse. What do you mean by collapse? Things are falling apart. The greatest reset. You'll not see it. Probably they'll play it so easy and good. And on top of that, earlier on, I was looking at this. What is this happening? Like, why all of these are trending at the same time? Is the bird flu strain the next pandemic risk? The big one could be even worse than COVID-19. 3 weeks. Look at this here. 23 hours. Lesson from this could help communities better prepare. What? 23 hours. A devil's. And then on top of that, there's this. No, ask yourself, what's happening? All right. I don't want to get totally off topic here. Experts think gold could hit 5,000, 5,200 by 2026. Silver might jump. I'm not going to discuss about gold and silver. Oh, there's actually one more. What do crypto forks mean? So I asked, okay, so here's a question for you. Why did the fork happen in the past? BTC, Coin Cash, and ETC. ETH also had a fork, right? ETC. So there's a possibility that if BlackRock and some entities control most of the supply, they could choose to fork in the future and support a new token, which could be BT whatever, TradFi, and the committee or those who opposed hold BTC bags like the Bitcoin Cash, and then slowly falls off due to no adoption. First, let's quickly explain what a fork means. It's like a split in the road for a blockchain. The committee disagrees on rules or changes, so the chain divides into two versions. Everyone who owned the old coin gets the same amount of the new one, but then people choose which one to support. The one with more users, miners, and money usually wins and keeps growing, while the other might fade away. Why did Bitcoin fork into Bitcoin Cash? This happened in 2017. Bitcoin was getting popular, but it had a problem. Transactions were slow and expensive because the blocks were too small, only 1 MB. Some people wanted bigger blocks to make it faster and cheaper for everyday use. The disagreement. One group said, let's increase block size. They thought Bitcoin should be like digital cash for buying stuff. The main Bitcoin group said, no, that could make the network less secure and harder for regular people to run. They wanted other fixes like off-chain layers. The fork on August 1st, 2017, the big block group split off and created Bitcoin Cash. At first, BCH, and I was there. I witnessed this. I received the same amount of token. That reminds me, 2017. So I told you, I got into around 2016. So I had Bitcoin, and after they forked, they gave me the Bitcoin Cash. Free money, so-called airdrop, free money, right? I think it was worth decent, 400 something. What happened after? BCH got some adoption, but it never caught up. Its price is way lower than BTC now. And fewer people use it. Slowly lost steam because not enough big players or users switched over. You see that here? Same thing happened with ETH here, which I'm not going to read right now, right? Could this happen again with Bitcoin and big players like BlackRock? This is the most important question. Could it happen again? This is response. Yes, it's possible. But it would be a big deal and not easy. Here's why it could play out like you said. With a new BTCT, Bitcoin TradFi, maybe for big finance versus the old BTC for independent users. If big entities control a lot, right now companies like BlackRock hold about 4% of Bitcoins through ETFs, and all US ETFs have around 6%. If that grows to 10% to 20% or more, like the articles we talked about predict by 2030, they could have huge power. They don't own the network, but they control a ton of coins in storage. How a fork could start. Say there's a debate over new rules, like adding privacy features, changing how mining works, or making it follow government regulations, right? Anti-money laundering, etc. If BlackRock and other big holders don't like the change, they could say, we support a new fork that keeps things safe for banks. Then move their massive holdings to the new chain and get exchanges, miners, and investors to follow. What might happen? The new BTCT could get quick adoption because big money backs it. Prices might pump, and it becomes the official one for trading and ETFs. The old Bitcoin, the one we are holding right now, held by community folks who want freedom, could end up like BCH or ETC. Still around, but with way less value and use. It might slowly drop because no big companies or new users join. Why it's like the past? In the old forks, the economic majority, who has the most coins and influence, decided the winner. BlackRock could be the majority in the future. But remember, Bitcoin's network is run by miners and nodes worldwide, not just holders. If enough miners and users, and this is the ending part, which is the real juice, if enough miners and users fight back, the old chain could survive. Still, history shows the side with money usually wins. History shows the side with money usually wins. We are talking about BlackRock, JP Morgan, all the entities. And just give you an example clearly that the biggest whales are handing over the keys. They are literally showing what's real, that the showing that money is important. So now you be the judge, right? Risk and what stops. Forks are messy and can crash prices short term. If the committee unites against big custodians, or if a hack hits ETFs, people might pull back to self-custody. But what are the chances? Right? Again, just curious, trying to figure out. If you're holding BTC expecting something to happen, and I also mentioned this, sometimes you don't see the prices. Barely. Why do you think the price is not moving up? Why do you think there are longs and shorts? Because that's how they make the money. While we keep providing liquidity, hey, this is gonna go to 200,000. All right, let's provide more liquidity. Because if all of the whales dumped it at the same time, it would cause massive dump and massive panic, retail panic, and then there would be no future. It would be the end of the game. So in order to run this Ponzi or whatever you want to call it long enough until they can squeeze as much money and value as possible, because I mentioned this earlier on, all the maxis, even the exchange owners, if they are Bitcoin maxis, they know the purpose of Bitcoin, rebel money, why would they list thousands of other tokens, including scams and shit tokens and everything that doesn't even make sense? Because it was always about the money, always. So yeah, Bitcoin maxis, aka hypocrites, what happened to the purpose now? What happened to rebel money? It's all about the real whatever dollars. It's all about cashing out in whatever fiat in real materialistic world, basically. It was never like, you hold the bag. Because if you all hold bag while we keep selling slowly. Because if you don't, then it's going to crash and spook everybody off. And then nobody's going to come and touch it. And then we could have made 10, 20 billion, but now only we made 1 billion. So please keep it longer. Keep just a little longer. Just keep long. You know what I mean, right? Keep pushing it down the road a little longer until they really can't do nothing about it. Again, I'm not against BTC or Bitcoin, but I'm just trying to show you the hypocrisy and the irony in this entire space. And that's about it. And they come and say, oh my God, gold is dipping, gold is going down. Again, man, at the end of the day, it's you, on you, everything on you. Just I hope you understand what's happening, all right? And have an open mind. Absorb, learn, question. And that's about it. Let's make a lot of dinero. This is your host, RBL. Over and out. Peace for now.